Hey guys, hope y'all doing well on this Friday morning, at least the morning here in the eastern United States. So I just wanted to pop on here and talk about something I just saw on YouTube as I was logging in. Barry Sanders, the football great, was on, was it the Today Show, I think, talking about how he had a heart attack last year. And it's troubling, and I wasn't one to watch a lot of football growing up, but I mean I was familiar with a lot of the names, and Barry Sanders' name was definitely one of the common names in football back when I was growing up. And of course the shoes, the Barry Sanders shoes, I can still kind of see them in my head. Those are very popular as well. But anyhow, I digress. He had a heart attack, and I guess he noticed he had like persistent chest pain, and then he was like he decided maybe I should go to the doctor, and they did some tests on him, and then they eventually saw that something was wrong, and kind of went from there. Um, I want to talk about this because this kind of stuff really makes me think, like, what's going on? Because I have known of several people. This feels too common. People who are kind of like in the age, I would say, age range of maybe 45 to maybe 60. Let me see, how old is Barry Sanders? Barry Sanders is 56. Yeah, so somewhere in that age range, um, dealing with strokes and heart attacks. Now that I'm 40, 56 is young. 56 is young. And so it's kind of troubling. It's troubling. Like what happened? And then somebody like Barry Sanders who has a very athletic past. So he was in shape. His cardiovascular was good. Now I don't know, of course, how he ate during his career, how he eats now, what his lifestyle is like now. He definitely had an exercise going. So I don't know, and I'm not gonna even speculate on anything like that. I know of another guy, who I know more personally, who's somewhere in that same age range, and he had a heart attack while engaged in a physical activity. And from what I see, he takes care of himself. And again, I don't know all the details, all the specifics and whatnot, but yeah, just like a lot of, especially men, having heart attacks and strokes, and in some cases, it seems like they're taking care of themselves. So I'm like, what's going on? So I can't help but just kind of think about, especially when it seems like a trend, and this is just me just kind of really wondering out loud. Like, is there a bigger issue that we have to tackle, like in our with our food or our lifestyles, that's kind of like now coming to a head, if that makes sense? So, like, is there something that we've changed as a society, um, that we do more or less than previous generations that is making us more susceptible to these type of um acute and serious health issues, heart attacks and strokes. um I speculate, like, is it that our food, even our healthier foods, are lower quality? Because I mean that is the case for sure, that well, at least it makes sense to me that our fruits and vegetables even are of lower nutritional quality just based on farming methods, conventional farming methods, that is. So, I mean, that could be a part of it. Could it be that we're more sedentary? Well, I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know if it's that. I don't know. But then again, I mean, we're at least as sedentary as, the past 3 or so generations. I don't know, 2 or 3 generations. Could it be fast food again? I don't know. I mean, I think in some cases it could be because here's one thing I thought about the other day. I thought about how much fast food I've eaten in contrast to how much fast food maybe like my parents ate. Now, like I know my mom, I don't think she grew up ever eating a hamburger or whatever. I think they might every now and then get some KFC or something like that. But I'm talking about every now and then. Why? Because my grandma always she cooked a lot. She made home cooked meals all the time. Whereas, especially once I got to the age where I was able to kind of be more independent, like later high school and into college, and I was working at Chick-fil-A and stuff, I really ate a lot of fast food around that time. We ate fast food a decent amount when I was growing up in my home, but once I kind of started getting on my own, I remember sometimes doing fast food 2 times a day, maybe even 3 every now and then. Um, and that lasted for a little while, at least until I got my own place and started to, you know, um, I had my own kitchen, so I started to cook and do those kind of things. But man, um, I know I've eaten over my lifetime a lot more fast food, and I'm kind of thinking even more that those type of foods are probably more harmful than we realize. I think especially for young people because your young body is growing and all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, I don't know if these kind of things are contributing over time to like folks' bodies being less resilient. I do believe in the body's ability to heal whenever you give it the right kind of conditions, proper quality and intake of fruits and vegetables, you know, um, proper rest, um, fasting every now and then, drinking plenty of water, and so on and so forth. I do believe in that. Um, but yeah, man, this stuff kind of like it makes me wonder. It kind of it is concerning. There's the dude. I can't remember what the guy's name is. And I just look it up here. The dude who was on he was on that show. He was a personal trainer, and he had a heart attack. Oh yeah, Bob Harper. Yep. So he was working out. He's a personal trainer um who was on was it the show Biggest Loser, I want to say. Let me see if it was Biggest Loser. Um I don't know. Give me a second here, y'all. Um, hmm. I'm gonna find it here. So it was in 2017. He was 52 years old. See, kind of in that range. He was 52 years old, and he said he was in the gym, and then he just woke up 2 days later being told that he had a heart attack and immediately went into cardiac arrest. A trainer, very well known celebrity trainer, having a heart attack. So it's like, okay, what's going on? If anything, it makes me really think that if we really want to be healthy and stuff, then one, we have to take this stuff really seriously, and then two, and trust me, when I say that, I'm not saying that any of these individuals didn't. I'm not saying that at all. Um, but this is what it makes me think for my own self. But then the second thing it makes me think is that we have to make sure that we're addressing all aspects of health, all aspects of health. So, getting cardio. But a lot of times when we think about exercise, we think I mean, not exercise, but like being healthy, we just think eat right and exercise. We think just about those two things. But even a lot of times, even with that, we think if we're exercising, that can kind of like somehow gloss over anything else, and it's just not true. It's one of the reasons why, like, if I, for example, don't get enough sleep, then I won't exercise because to me it just seems like it would do more harm than good because your body's already in like a deficient state, and to actually add on the stress of exercise to me seems like it would unnecessarily burden your body if that makes sense. So so anyway, that's my thoughts about that. But anyway, y'all, especially those of you who I'm always talking to, who are in my age range from 35 up, let's really be comprehensive with our health. Let's make sure that we're exercising daily, eating right the large majority of the time, at least, 80/20, 80% of the time, getting enough sleep, not taking life too seriously. In other words, getting yourself all stressed out and running to and fro. And also never always running to and fro and never finding time to decompress. I think that's a big issue for a lot of us in my generation, millennials. We're always going back and forth and we never seem to have the time to actually nurture ourselves. When people before, it was just kind of built into their way of being. And so they didn't have to find the time. It just was like part of their lifestyle. And we're having to kind of backtrack and kind of find the time, but we don't find the time. So let's be comprehensive and take this stuff seriously, y'all. That's all I got. I may do more of these live streams. We just gotta see what kind of time I have, but let me know your thoughts below.